straight look.
All right. Good evening, everyone. The time is 7 p.m. and I will now call this regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The next item is the acceptance of tonight's agenda. I do not have any changes. I will entertain a motion to accept.
I'll make a
Go, Sean.
I'll make a motion, we accept it.
And I'll make a second for that.
Okay, thank you both. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you all. Next up, approval of the minutes from our regular meeting of September 20th, 2023.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes for September 20, 2023.
Thank you, John.
I'll second.
Thank you, Sean. Any errors, changes, omissions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion passes unanimously. All right, next up is communications and correspondence. I'll start with our new addition, our new hire here is Courtney Fitzke. Courtney is our new Youth and Family Services Director, so I invited Courtney here this evening just to say hi, introduce herself. Courtney, would you like to come up?
Not right
Yeah,
up there.
come up to the podium. Thank you. So, 2 weeks in?
Yeah, tomorrow will be 3.
3. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm Courtney Fitzke, and it's nice to meet you all. Happy to be here. I've lived in town with my husband for a few years now, and I'm excited to be in this role. I've come from East Hampton as their prevention coordinator for a drug-free communities grant. And then before that, I used to work in after-school programming. So I have a lot of youth development experience. I'm really comfortable working with people in communities and in the schools. So, yeah. Any questions for me?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, everyone would just like to introduce themselves, maybe? So-
I'm Mike Pelton. Pleasure to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you.
Bobby Hunter.
Nice to meet you.
Sean, I met you.
Ralph Sampano.
John Dillon, we met. Nice to meet you again.
Michael Hernandez, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Well, welcome, Courtney. Thank you. You don't have to stay for the whole meeting. I thought it would be great for everyone to meet you.
Yeah,
and,
thank you for having me.
All right, Courtney's one of Courtney's first assignments is, of course, our Halloween on Main Street, which is. And now, when is Halloween on Main Street?
It's Friday, the 27th, from 4 to 6:30.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, the 27th. So mark your calendars, everyone.
Everybody got 2 emails.
All right, the next item under communications and correspondence, I did hear some great news on Friday, and that was that the town of Portland has been awarded another STEEP grant from DAS, I believe. Is it DAS, Tom? Who's STEEP? Can't remember. Okay. Well, anyways, we have $500,000 to replace the water lines on High Street, and so that's going to be from the high school, and it's going to be heading towards William Street. And now the entire project, and Ryan's here, he can correct me if I'm wrong, but the entire project is estimated to be approximately $1.8 million. So with this, we have a $500,000 grant from the state now, and we have a $100,000 match. So we have $600,000 for this project, which will get us about a third of the way there. And we will be looking for additional grant funding and other opportunities to complete the project. But it's a great project because, you know, we know that High Street is in rough shape, but we don't want to do anything to the road if we're going to have to tear it up and replace the water lines after. So by taking care of the water lines, we can then take care of the road on top after. So, so some good news, and you know, hopefully we're waiting on another grant. You know, fingers crossed. So we'll see. And that's all I have for communications and correspondence. So we'll move to public comment. Is there anyone in the public who wishes to speak?
Nothing in the chat.
Okay. Move on to our monthly budget report. Finance Director Tom Robinson is here this evening. He did share the budget report with the Selectmen, so you all should have that in front of you. Keep in mind, we are now, well, we're a quarter of the way through the fiscal year, so if you can believe it, moving along here.
Good evening.
Evening.
I want to make sure we can all hear me here, because last time I was told that you couldn't hear me, and everyone wants to hear everything I say, because it's so,
We hang on every word.
hearing every word, so. So right now, you have the budget report in front of you for September 30th. So you have your revenue and your expenses here. Revenues, we touched on some of the things last month. We're seeing some positive returns in the prior year collections. There's been a few properties that have either sold or back taxes have been collected on, so that's a positive. We also have sent a list of properties to our tax sale attorney to begin the tax sale process. And some of the demands have gone out from the attorney, from Pullman and Comley, and we'll go through that process. Hopefully, you know, people will pay before it gets, you know, to the sale of the house itself. But if it does go to that far, that does occur. On 00303, property rental, Brownstone Excavation Park does seem to have a pretty good year. Not pre-pandemic levels, but was pretty solid for in the past. It's definitely increased in the past few years. So we're definitely that we get the percentage on that, and also Oak Hill has made one of their payments, and waiting on the other 3 from those, but those are on a quarterly basis, so just waiting on one really. 00312 was conveyance tax. We talked about that last time. There was a large penalty on one of the properties that had conveyed, so that was a good amount collected early on, and still collections coming in okay, so that's positive. When you go to the next page, investment income. Investment income is coming in definitely better than we anticipated, budgeted. Rates are strong. Stiff is paying quite well. Some of the other banks are paying quite well. Still, have some funds as we wait. We've received some funds that are obviously earning interest as we wait for some of the items that are on order to come in. So we earn interest that goes to the general fund on that period of time. So definitely a positive for us. Any questions on revenues? All right, expenses. We hit upon the areas, that had some challenges, or in the very first part. Not too much has changed on that front. Police has just a few line items that we'll have to keep watching throughout the year. Obviously, private duty is always one that we watch, but it's offset by a very positive in revenue. But the other licensing software within the police department and conference meetings and dues, there was a training that was a little bit more expensive and unanticipated that needed to be approved due to the fact of having this one-time opportunity coming around in the area for a specific need for the police department. Was brought in, this company was brought in by one of the other local police departments to put on this training, and so that expense was not anticipated, as it was unknown that they were going to bring that group in. So we had to put the training through that. So that's where the meetings and dues. I know they're still looking to hire employees, so we'll have to see how that goes through the process as well, with testing and examinations and any other types of training that needs to go forward on that matter. Most of the other areas are doing staying within their budget. The town engineer budget is globally doing well. Miscellaneous engineering takes a little bit of a hit. That was for some temporary projects that were not necessarily 100% moved forward yet, but things that are trying to be in their, kind of like their infancy stage to move forward to a grant or a potential item like that, which would be, I think some of that charge was for the airline trail, and some of that was some components of the airline boat launch area, the airline park on the boat launch, but that was before the actual like design work, so there were some of the charges there. It's really what I have on expenses at this time.
Any questions for Tom?
No, I don't have any.
Tom, I just have one. When you mentioned the tax sales,
Yeah.
at what point do we push it to that? Is it years behind, or is it percentage of the value?
There's like some mixtures of, you know, usually finance and tax kind of go through that, making a judgment. It's some time not paying, as well as a dollar, a dollar value to a point.
Okay.
So that's kind of where we're at. Some of it was also driven based off utilities. So the dollar value can also change on that. If there were some people that were high on utilities, that's going to be a different, that's going to be a lower value than it would be if it was real estate tax.
Okay.
Because you know, you're at a certain threshold in utilities, you've accumulated quite a lot. If you're, which taxes in a house would be more than that. But yeah, that's how we do it. We come up with like a scope threshold. Okay.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
All right. Next up is a resolution that is in your packet, and this is a request for a waiver of bid requirements through Knapp Engineering. Our Public Works Director, Ryan O'Halpin, is here tonight to explain this. This is with our waste facility, waste treatment facility. All right.
How you doing, guys? So, yeah, I know I've been here a few times for bid waivers down there at the sewer plant. This is another Band-Aid partial project for the blower system that had been replaced in 2000, and then this panel was replaced again in 2008 by Knapp. Basically, the blower functions supply the airflow for the aeration tanks, so it controls the BOD, the biochemical oxygen demand, and then dissolved oxygen in the tanks, which is the heart and soul of the sewer plant. If that doesn't operate correctly and adjust for water flow, we end up with problems on the other end trying to, on the effluent going out to the river. So we lost control 3 times in the last year, and we had Knapp in for emergency repairs. Cost like $2,500 total for those 3 times, but that's how we came to this point where they're recommending replacement of the panel. Basically, it's just out. Well, we have chips. There's microchips. There's a lot of computer parts inside of this panel that are just not made anymore.
So this is the one that you referred to the last time you were here, right?
I brought it up at the water and sewer meeting.
Or was it maybe it was a water sewer?
Yeah. I don't think I brought this one at the board meeting yet, but I did bring it up because we had issues again back in August.
So is this the same issue, Ryan, where if you were to try to go out and find something less expensive, you'd have to replace much more than what you're replacing? We're just trying to kind of piece this existing system back together, right?
Yeah, so there's these HMI cords, which I'm not too familiar with all of the technology, but the HMI is getting older, and they need to upgrade that screen but they're going to retrofit it into the existing, you know, the existing hookups, into that screen. And I think, since NAP did the whole system to begin with, I think it would be a bad idea to have someone do the panel and then retrofit it onto their system, and then when something goes wrong in the middle, maybe we get people pointing at each other.
So this is the best for compatibility.
Yeah, compatibility, just keep the blower system NAP. And the pricing, I checked with Wright Pierce, our engineer, the pricing and everything looked good. They recommended moving forward.
Did they
So-
give us a life expectancy of this repair?
The first panel was 8 years, and then we've gotten 15 out of the second panel. The whole system overall, though, is on a list to upgrade to more energy efficient blowers. That whole system takes a lot of energy. Probably half the energy we need at that plant goes into that blower system. So it'd be good to upgrade at some point, but we're checking down the list. We have the clarifier project going now. I believe this one is next on the list unless something else becomes an issue and rises to the top.
What would this cost?
The entire system is gonna be hundreds of thousands. I haven't even gotten into estimates on it yet, because we're not there for funding.
Yeah.
So.
But
yeah,
you also said the new one would be more efficient.
We'll at least get, you know, the next 2, 5, 6 years, whatever we need. The panel shouldn't be an issue. I can't promise all the parts and components of the whole system, but at least the panel will get us to where we need to be.
Well, here's a question that I don't know. Would this panel still be compatible when you do upgrade?
We don't know, because I think if it goes out to bid, we don't know what kind of system we're gonna end up with,
Okay.
you know, overall. Because we'd probably keep it so multiple contractors can bid with different technology. But that's, yeah, I haven't even started writing specs on that one yet.
All right.
Any other questions for Ryan on this?
This is coming out of the water and sewer.
It's coming out of the sewer.
Sewer, that's what, castle, okay.
Sewer capital. So we did just save some money on the clarifier project, which, you know, this is the reason why we value engineered that project. So we have money for things like this that come up.
Would someone like to move the resolution?
I'll move the resolution.
Okay, are you gonna read it, or you?
I guess I'll read it. Seeing how you're telling me I have to read it. Resolution, Board of Selectmen, Town of Portland, Connecticut, October 4th, 2023. Request for waiver of bid requirements, NAP Engineering Incorporated. Whereas the Town of Portland Water Pollution Control Facility, WPCF, contracted NAP Engineering, Inc. to upgrade the blower control system in 2000, to which controls the airflow to the aeration tanks. And whereas the blower control panel was most recently replaced in 2008, and whereas recent hardware and software issues have hindered operations due to the currently owned technology has outlasted its useful life, and stopgap measures have been put in place to temporarily resolve the issues. And whereas a quote for furnishing and replacing the blower control panel has come in at approximately $17,000 from NAP Engineering, Inc. of 20 Industrial Road, P.O. Box 7057, Prospect, Connecticut 06712. And whereas the quote from NAP Engineering includes the required replacement equipment and necessary installation, transition, and conversions. Now therefore be it resolved that in the best interest of the town, pursuant to section 1208, subsection 7 of the Portland Charter, the Board of Selectmen hereby waives the bidding requirements of section 1208 of the Portland Charter as it pertains to utilizing NAP Engineering, Inc. as the contractor to furnish and replace the blower control panel at the Town of Portland WPCF And be it further resolved that the Board of Selectmen authorizes the first selectman, Ryan J. Curley, to act on behalf of the town of Portland to enter into any agreements related to these repairs improvements.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Ralph. All right, all those in favor, oh wait, actually, any additional discussion on this first? All right, call for the question. All those in favor of the request for waiver of bid requirements for Knapp Engineering, Inc., signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Ryan.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right. Next up is item 9, and this is an item that was discussed at the last meeting. And John, I don't know if you want to take the lead on this. This is a board acknowledges a receipt of the report from the School Facility Study Committee. Would you like to make a motion, John?
Yeah, I've come up with some language, and I'd like to put it out there and see what the group thinks of it, and we can move on from there. I would like to make a motion, we accept the report from the School Facilities Committee as advisory, and we reserve the right of the Board of Selectmen to make any changes as deemed necessary.
I'll second that.
Yeah, I like that.
What was that again?
Accept the report from the School Facilities Committee as advisory, reserving the right of the Board of Selectmen to make changes as deemed necessary.
All right, any discussion?
Yeah, I like it. That's good.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention?
Thank you,
Motion.
guys. I know I've stuck to my guns, and I apologize for blocking us last week, but I just thought it was something we had to do, so appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Next up is appointments to boards and commissions. Are there any appointments this
I don't have
evening?
any.
No appointments. I think we should, under appointments, I think we should formally appoint Sean and also Dave Murphy to the Facilities Committee. Someone would like to make those appointments, just to formally do that.
I'll make a motion to appoint Sean Manning and David Murphy to the facilities, what's it called? Committee group?
Yeah. The
Study?
Study
The
Committee.
new
Facilities-
one.
Yeah, the new facility study group.
Okay. Is there a second on that?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Ralph. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, and with that, we'll move on to refunds of excess payments. Bobby, would you like to do the honors?
Sure, I'll try it. Make a motion for refund of excess payment Nancy and Henry Leclerc, $8.21.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries.
Motion for a refund of excess payment Gregory and Nicole Rava, $13.
Second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries.
Motion for a refund of excess payment Russell Carlson, $25.80.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries.
Motion for a refund of excess payment Corey James and Richard Geisman, $174.11.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries.
Motion for a refund of excess payment Michael Arcand, $60.57.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Thank you all. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Ralph. All right, next up, we're flying through tonight, status reports. So I have a couple things going on. We have a lot of projects going on right now. I just want to touch base on some of them, and I'll try to get to all of them. But the Hilltop project is going on right now. We are repaving Hilltop. And while we're in there, we said, why not take out the water lines and replace them as well? Did I get that right, Tom? So I want to stress that we are in no way taking care of the water lines first. We are doing the road, and as a byproduct of the road, we happen to be replacing the water lines. So we have to be careful how we word that. But that is a good project, and it's going on right now. The sidewalk project with our connectivity grant funds is moving very, very rapidly. Mike, I want to thank you for the pictures
Yeah.
you took. That was great. They're already,
flying.
I noticed in the pictures that you took that there was a stop sign that was right in the middle of where the sidewalk may be.
I may have noticed that, yeah.
Ryan assured me that the stop sign has already been moved today, so there will be no issues, no sidewalks in cement or anything like that. So that's important. We want to avoid any additional controversies. Let's see, our boat launch project or our river access project. I haven't really talked about that in a while, but I thought it would be a good time to just update on where we are with that project. So you may recall the town had received a $300,000 grant from the state last year to get access to our town-owned property along the Connecticut River. And we have an easement, thanks to Tilcon, that we can access this property through. Now, there are a lot of regulations to get through when you're dealing with waterfront like this, and it is in what's called, DEEP calls this a critical management area, critical wildlife management area. So there's extra boxes that need to be checked off because of that. So we've been working with DEEP and our town engineers, and we happen to hire some experts. We had to hire a plant expert to look at plants and anything that may be endangered in that area. And the good news is that we actually had to wait until July, I think it was, for the seed pods to spawn for some plant. And that's what was taking so long on the plant. So the good news is July came and went and there were no seed pods, so that came back positive. And now we are looking for mussels. And so our mussel expert had gotten delayed over the summer by all the flooding. So he was out there, I believe he was out there this week or last week, but DEEP had given him permission to go into October to complete his study. So we are awaiting that, but he's not just looking at mussels, but also other potentially endangered species that may be in the area that DEEP has requested that we look at. So if we do find any of these mussels or anything, we would have to do some additional mitigation or something along those lines. So that's just something to keep in mind, but it takes a little bit longer to get the proper approvals, but that doesn't mean we're not still working on this. So I just wanted to let everyone know how we're doing on that. We did have a meeting this morning on 248 Brownstone Avenue and the remediation over there. And I think I told you all about the tar that we found in this very large, is it 2,000 gallon? It's a 2,000 gallon tank that we found. And it was a surprise tank that, one of the surprise tanks that we found on the site. And it was filled with tar. And so we had a couple options. Because it was in the middle of summer, it was too warm to like break out in chunks, but it was too cold to like suck it up, right? Something like that. So we didn't.
Semi-solid.
It was semi-solid, so we didn't really have a really good, by good I mean affordable option to take care of it. But our Enviro, or a contractor, had this idea where we could use the tar and use that tar and pave the part of the property with the tar. And actually, they did a test of this paving. And I'm told today it came back very favorable. So we do need to get final approval from, I think, DEEP on this in order to use this tar. It wouldn't be in the flood area, it would be up top. But the whole point is trying to make this property as attractive as possible for future development. So if we can, cover up, we put some chip seal, with the tar, and we can basically create our own cap right now. And we're using the tar, so we're saving money on the disposal, and we're actually getting a product with it. So it's actually kind of creative, and it looks to be working out. So so stay tuned, but we hope to pave that as well. And let's see, that's it for me, I believe. Rob?
Okay, the only thing that I attended since our last meeting was the library board of directors, and a couple things that came out of that. One is they did have their book collection last weekend, to prepare for their book sale October 20th to 22nd, so everyone should be aware of that. And the other thing that's going on is that the director is working on a long-range plan, using the group of towns that are working together, not on a single plan, but learning the process as they go along and developing. And so the whole thing now is the directors are now going to get engaged as well and working hard. And there's aggressive timeline, so it has to be completed within the year, by the end of the year, I believe, they have to have the draft. So it's moving along very well.
Thank you, Ralph. Any other status reports? All right, we'll move on to public comment. Public comment. Okay. Nothing in the chat, nothing in the audience, okay, last chance. All right, we'll move on to Board of Selectmen General Informal Discussion. I just want to highlight a couple things under this. The chamber breakfast, I believe this entire board is attending on October 30th. I did try to reserve us a table, but apparently you can only reserve a table if you were a sponsor. So we will just have to get there early, but everyone is registered for the event. So we look forward to that. And I believe Susan Bransfield will be receiving an award at that, so that's great. So we'll all be there to congratulate Susan. And let me see if there's anything else under, I don't have anything else. Anybody else?
Just a quick thing, I know you've been talking to Bob Shea. Any word on where we stand with Engine 3 with the insurance company or anything like that?
I don't have an update on the insurance on, it was our pump that broke on
The tank.
The tank, yeah. For those of you who don't know, our tank on Engine 3 broke, and so it is currently out of service right now. And I believe we're still working through the insurance on that. I do not have an update on that as well. We also had some flooding 2 weeks ago now, over at when we had those torrential rains. We had some water. Yeah, water damage, so we had some water damage at our police station that we are also working with our insurance company on as well. Any other items?
The only thing I have is make sure everyone goes to the fair this weekend.
That's what I meant. That's right.
I'll be there.
They have all their attractions, vendors, rides, everything's hopefully gonna go off as normal.
Yeah, I hope to see everyone at the fair. I know a lot of people have a few people have put a lot of work into the fair, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone down there. So bring your boots.
I found them today.
And make sure they're not your really good boots, because that mud doesn't come off.
All right, anything else under general informal discussion?
Yeah, I just wanted to remind you that I would like to recognize the people that worked on the park before I move on. So I'd like to see us do that, and while we're doing that, we probably should look into closing out, if we probably should close out the last committee, formally close out the last committee that was involved with it.
All the loose ends are all squared away now?
Did you want to do something at the park? Is that what you were looking for? Or did you want to have
At this
people-
point.
Do you want to have them invite everyone to our next meeting? Would that be something?
We could do,
Or the-
that would be, yeah, I don't know how many people are still around, a number of the people.
Well, we can see, yeah.
Out of town, but, that would be great.
Okay. No, I think that, yeah, thank you. It keeps, sorry, I keep forgetting. I know you tell me every time, but we got to do that. So, and also we have gotten prices on the cameras too and all that. We're working on that. So,
That would be great.
yeah, okay. All right, anything else? All right, I don't have anything under follow-up items tonight, but we do have an executive session on the potential sale or lease of town property. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to enter executive session, and we will close out the
I
public
make a
portion
motion, we enter executive session.
I second.
for the purpose of.
For the purpose of potential sale or lease of town property.
I'll second that motion.
Any
Well,
guest or no?
All those in favor? No guess.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.